I'm Derrick Sewell, the new head football coach at West End High School.
Coach, it's a pleasure to have you on the show out here at West End High School, Walnut Grove. Beautiful backdrop, by the way. You picked this backdrop, and I'm glad you did. I love it. You have taken this position out here at West End. Coach, it's a team that we've been covering since Average Joe started. They've had some ups and downs, and looking forward to the opportunity of working with you. But before we get into how you got this job and what led you here, take it back to the old days, Coach. When you grew up, where did you grow up, and what was life like back then?
You got you. Yeah, so I'm from a little town called Henniger, Alabama, up in DeKalb County. I went to Sylvania, played at Sylvania High School. I did transfer Christmas my junior year and finished at Fort Payne. Played for Brian Mashburn at Sylvania. I know him from Fife, and I think a lot of Coach Mashburn. And then my senior year at Fort Payne was Coach Paul Ellis's first year as head coach. And those two experiences, coming out of those, I knew, hey, I've got to find a way to stay with football. So had an opportunity to play Division II ball at Kentucky Wesleyan College. And after that, it was, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to go to law school, I'm going to make a lot of money. That senior year, I'd had 2 shoulder surgeries, so I'd already decided, hey, I need to move on into something different. So Coach got me set up with a Davis County High School in Owensboro, started volunteer coaching, and decided, hey, this is it for me. So moved back home, went to JSU through the 5th year program, got my master's in certificate, and hadn't looked back since. Started out at Gaston as head baseball coach for 3 years, and defensive assistant. Then moved on to
Swain Morris?
Yeah, well, so Swain's first year back was my 3rd year, my last year, and I learned more, that year than I've learned in a long time.
Yeah.
And then having that opportunity with Jeff Davis for a year at Pleasant Valley, with Jonathan Nix, his first year. And then with Brian Allred, my first 2 years at Ragland as DC, I feel very fortunate that I've been able to, kind of come up under guys like that.
Coming from DeKalb County, it's a really rich tradition football county.
Oh, yeah.
How has that kind of influenced your foundation to get you where you are now? And was there ever another sport you considered coaching or being, more heavily involved in, because you played multiple sports?
Yeah, I played all 3 in school, and that DeKalb County tradition, I can remember being 7, 8, 9 years old when during those 90s years at Sylvania with Coach Benefield, and Coach, what I like most is I can see Coach right now, and he's going to hug my neck, call me by name, and I value that relationship. And it was from growing up, and I try to tell people, especially at Ragland and now here, that it's a little bit different breed, and that's what we want to try to establish here. Not that Coach Davis had. Coach Davis has done a good job. We want to try to continue building a level of toughness so that when I had to talk to kids today, well, Coach, I'm a basketball guy. I said, okay, well, I guarantee you'll be a tougher basketball player
100%.
if you'll play football for me. So I did. I coached baseball, and I loved coaching baseball. Coming through school, played all 3. I think football was my favorite. I felt like I had more to offer there than in the other 2. I was a good pitcher, and I liked baseball a lot. Basketball, I was just a 6'3" or 6'4", you have to play it. So
County's had some good basketball teams too.
I tell you,
they currently have a team playing with a state championship anymore.
I've got to call my buddy, Kyle Finch, the girls coach at Sylvania. He was my center from the time we were 7 years old.
Absolutely.
He was a year old at the time he graduated. I took a lot of snaps from him, so I'm proud to see him, getting that chance to win him a state championship.
Now, when you left school and went and played at college, having that experience, I know that definitely helps when you talk to other kids about them wanting to play at the next level. What was the biggest transition for you, and what did you learn more about yourself when you left home and you was like, okay, I'm out here on my own and I got to own this? How was that experience?
You got to grow up. My freshman year, I had beat my shoulder up so much that senior year there at Fort Payne, and got in that freshman year and tore it up and really had to sit, redshirt that first year. And then I didn't take a car my first semester. So
you were stuck on.
I was there.
Wow.
My parents came up and they, stayed with me for several days, and that was a tough experience. First time being away from home, and
Then
really
injured too.
Yeah, injured, and there had just been so many people from our area that had went and come home.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my dad talked. He said, if you're going to do this, you're not going to be that guy.
That's right.
So I think that was part of the reason why I didn't get a vehicle that first semester. But man, it was as good as you think you are on a high school football field. There's 70 more in that locker room that are just like you. Most of the time better. You know, I played for 4 years behind a D2 All-American. Got invited to the Jets training camp. He's a coach now, and so it's the real deal. But it's changed so much from then to now. If you've got a Twitter profile, you really recruit yourself. You get yourself out there, and that's different. So I'm having to try to make sure I stay up on that part of it. But I wouldn't trade that experience for nothing. But what I tell my kid, every kid I get a chance to coach, while that experience is so gratifying, and to know that I wore that NCAA patch on my chest, Friday nights, still, I mean, it just trumps a Saturday afternoon.
There's something about defending where you grew up and your brother and their brother and your uncle and everybody played it here at this school. It's different, man.
Exactly.
I agree with you 100%. I've actually personally quit watching a lot of college football just because once you get involved in the high school level, it's
pure.
It's the purest form of football, in my opinion.
And they told us, hey, my job's to make sure I'm out recruiting somebody that's better than you. And it was just so business-like.
It turns into a business.
That's what it is. And, if I hadn't loved football, it might not would have been for me.
No doubt. Now, something you said I want to hit on right here. You talked about the game changing, and it's changed not just like from formations and things, but everybody's big and fast and strong. And I remember back in the day, not everybody worked out hard, but nowadays, I mean, you have to. And coming into a school like this, where you're going to have to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the game and how it's changed and how you've changed your mentality with the game to stay up on what you do as a coach.
Right. So, I grew up, I was a wing T quarterback.
Gotcha.
We got in the shotgun and it was almost like we were trying to trick somebody. Matter of fact, I was a junior before I took a shotgun snap.
That's crazy.
I really didn't realize what was going on. But once I got into college, we were the Tony Franklin system, and, you were looking here. You was getting a signal, looking here, and then you were going. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what he was doing. And just that evolution of just spreading things out and go. I was used to the value of coming to a huddle, calling to play, because sometimes I might have to tell the left guard and the right tackle what to do.
Yeah.
And it just the speed of it and just the individualization of it, in my opinion, on Saturdays has really changed. I think you can still find the most pure form of football on a Friday night. And I know the kids like to be like those guys on Saturdays. And it is evolving even at the high school level. And, while we will be a wing T type team, we'll dress it different. It'll look more like what you see on Saturdays and Sundays, but it'll still be that. The kids yesterday had the first time I met them. And I could tell the one question they want to know, what we're going to do on offense and defense. And I told them, I said, people get paid a lot of money to complicate football on Saturday and Sunday. I said, we're going to establish the run and stop the run. Build everything else off of that. So that's going to be our mentality.
If you can do those two things, the number one thing you do is eliminate possessions for them.
Yep.
Which can slow a game down, and you can sneak up and beat some people you on paper are not supposed to.
Yep.
I like this old school mentality. I'm already excited about this.
Right. Well, and I told them, what they probably shocked them was the first 20 minutes of the meeting talking about the weight room. Because I told them, that if they couldn't commit there, because that's what, a lot of times when you talk to a kid about building a championship culture, they think, okay, we got to win championships to build it. I told them yesterday, you have to be worthy of a championship.
Yep.
You have to prepare in a way that warrants, winning a championship. And if you're not willing to prepare, then I don't know what you expect. And
exactly.
For me, the foundation was going to be in the weight room. We were going to go 5 days a week, and they all looked, and I said, that means Friday game day. We will be in the weight room. Be smart. And I told them, I said, I go back to 5 in spring guard, and some of them, I said they didn't get where they were because they get up and put their socks and shoes on the same way you do. But they got where they were because of hard work. And, if it's good enough for them and it's proven successful, then dadgummit, it's good enough for us. And that's who we're going to be.
You mentioned those two programs. Those are two really good programs. But I can attest to you, I know both coaches really well, and I do watch both teams work out.
Right.
Even at Spring Garden, Coach Austin has the girls in there working out like that. I mean, it's insane, but it also equals success. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Now, when and I know you've watched film on West End and things, and like you said, Coach Davis did a really good job. He's a real high energy guy. What did you see on film that they did? Some of the things that they did good, and some of the things you think you may need to work on.
I think they have a lot of, skill guys. First of all, I mean, for any coach in this area, that losing a guy like Eli Pierce will be
It's a pretty big blow.
And you kind of saw that when I go back and watch their film from last year, that transition of, okay, that was a bad blow. But what you also look at it that maybe the fan didn't see is the development of guys like Isaiah Robinson and and Thad Pierce and these guys that, okay, well, you know what? We were dealt this, here we go. And to see those development, and those are guys coming back. Correct. So I get to reap those benefits of that. I like where we're at. We had a good number come to the meeting yesterday, 9 through 12, and we have a lot of kids that seem very energized. Some kids that maybe for reasons, some other than others that didn't play in the past, have kind of showed some interest. And we'll see. The main thing is I got to see them on that field to really determine and lock into what we can do. Because I think a lot of times coaches bring this ego in of, well, they're going to do what I want to do. And I have an idea, but if it doesn't fit those kids, it's not about me, it's about them being successful. We talk about the coach being successful all we want, and that will come, but if those kids aren't in a way that they can be successful and thrive, then it's all for nothing.
No doubt. And you mentioned Isaiah, and it's funny you mentioned that. Unfortunately, I was here when the night Eli did get injured.
Right.
Tried to go back in, and he just was not. I mean, he couldn't. Mm-hmm. And you physically watched Isaiah. Something changed in him.
Right.
And I remember looking at Teddy Couch from Gadsden Times and told him, it's the fourth quarter with 20, 30 seconds left. He's still running like a maniac. Mm-hmm. The game was over at that point, you know what I mean? But
right.
Having guys like that to go to battle here with a good foundation, I mean, you got to be excited about that.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And there's a lot of, been overwhelmed with kids the last few days. And so there's names I don't know, but I think I had 10 or 11 seniors that I met with yesterday. And seeing them today, and they're in the hallways, I can see them talking to people, bringing people over to me. Coach, you need to, and just, because I told them, I was like, I can make my sales pitch all I want.
That's right.
But I've always told my kids, do not play a game because you like Derrick Sewell. Because there's going to be plenty of times where you don't. You need to play.
That's awesome.
For your buddies. You need to play for this common thread of I want to represent West End and I want to serve my brother by doing it. It's not about playing for me.
You talked about kids coming out. For the kids who maybe haven't spoken with you yet, and some of the parents even, what would be the number one message you would like to say to some of those kids or parents that are thinking, hey, he might play ball, we don't know this new coach, but what's some of the things that you can tell, look into the camera and tell the parents and the players that they can expect from you to being part of this program, this
right.
coach?
You can, number one, I'm going to invest in your kid. Your kid is not going to be beat down. They're not going to be degraded. And that's not to say that they have been. But I will love them. I will pour myself into them. They can trust that when they're turning their kid over to me, he's going to get the best coaching that he can get. That's the thing I stress to my coaches. Just because we're here at a two-way school does not mean we coach it any different than if we had the opportunity to be at a 6A, 7A. These kids deserve our very best. So that's why I do a lot of training in the offseason. Hey, how can I get better? A lot of, just football research. We'll protect them. We'll do things the right way. We'll make sure we're lifting the right way, make sure we're tackling the right way. And we're just going to give them every opportunity and experiences on how to be a man, on how to overcome adversity so that one day they can be good husbands, good daddies, good employees, good citizens. I think character development's a big thing, that I always try to do. And I'm very honest with people. I am a Christ follower, and I'm going to live my faith out.
Love it.
I'm never going to force it on anyone, but I want to be vulnerable in front of these kids. They're going to see me fail, but to me, this is a mission field. This is not something that is about me. So I'm going to take every opportunity to live that out in front of them. But you know, I always ask every kid who's uncertain or who's thinking about it, give me spring training. Spring training, if it's not for you, we shake hands, you walk away, and when I see you in the hall, I'm going to shake your hand, I'm going to support you in what you're doing. Maybe you need it, maybe there's another fit for you in our program. Maybe you want to be a manager, maybe you want to be a videographer, something. But I think too often people are afraid if I come out and I quit, I'm going to be chastised. Now look, I'm not going to be about kids, you know, starting and in week 3. Oh, you know, that's a different. Still not going to chastise kids, but I always give them spring training. If you're not sure, try it out, see if it's for you, and then we'll go from there.
And Coach, before we let you go, I want to ask you this: you know, taking over here, moving forward, what are some of the expectations you're putting on yourself? That some of the things that you say, I've got to get this done for us to be successful, or what I consider successful. What are some of the things that you put on yourself that you want to take in that role as leading this team?
Right. You know, I want to make sure that I don't get too comfortable. I want to make sure I'm continuing to step outside my comfort zone. You know, I want to make sure that I'm investing in our coaches that are here. You know, I've been asked twice today, well, who are you bringing? Are you doing? I don't know. And I can't control that. You know, I told the kids yesterday, our motto will be AED. All right, attitude, effort, and discipline. And those things we can control. There's not a lot we can't, but we can control those. So as I'm building my foundation and thinking of my expectations, that's where I'm going to be. I can control my attitude, my effort, my discipline. And West End will get the very best out of those 3 things from me.
Absolutely.
You know, the expectation is to come in and try to lay the groundwork for a championship culture. You know, work hard, not be selfish, not make excuses, and make sure, you know, people say kids change. No, our standard of them changed at some point. And I just want to make sure I'm holding them at a standard that is fair, but that will, again, put them in a position to be good employees, good husbands, good fathers, good citizens.
Good deal. Coach, it's been a pleasure sitting in with you. It's the first of many. We had tons of West End kids on, and
Right.
had Eli as one of our players of the week, actually the last 2 seasons. So
Okay.
we're looking forward to working with you, and we will be seeing you guys very soon, and good luck going into the spring.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.